Okay, today on Pro Tips, we're going to talk about recovery and rest. Specifically, the question was, how do I know when I need a rest day? There's a lot of answers depending on who you are and what you're up to. The main thing, I think a lot of people, and when I first got into cycling, I thought like I'm just going to go out there and I'm going to smash it every day. And I would do like this half-hour time trial course, just going as hard as I could every single day. That's not how you do it. That's not how it works. So if you don't know what a rest day is or you've never had one, that means you need one. So start there. Typically the way we would kind of build it is you put 2 recovery days into every week. So that'd be, say, Monday off, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday you're training, and then Friday is active recovery. So we'd call that like kind of a 1 to 2 hour, real easy, spin the legs, have a coffee, go home. You should feel better at the end than you did at the beginning of a proper recovery ride. So that's kind of the real basic way to look at it. If you want to get into the geeky stuff, there's recovery devices. This is the Whoop. So the Whoop is always watching your heart rate, and it's looking at your resting heart rate, and then this new kind of geeky metric called heart rate variability. And you can keep an eye on your resting heart rate yourself. You just check it every morning before you have your coffee, because coffee will spike that. But you check your resting heart rate. Just do that when you wake up. Count to 30 and double it. Count to 30 seconds and double it. And that'll give you a good idea. So the lower your resting heart rate is in the morning, typically the more recovered you are, and the more ready you are for a high intensity or a nice hard workout. So for me, like my typical resting heart rate is kind of between 35 and 45. If I wake up in the morning and it says your resting heart rate is 34, then that means I'm ready for kind of a short KOM that day, like a real sharp. God forbid if I have to sprint, I want to do it in a way where I'm fully recovered, because that's when I'm going to have the best power numbers. If you have a power meter, you can really see that the more rested you are, the better your high end. Less affected by it would be kind of the endurance stuff. So we would build in the high intensity is when you're most recovered. If you're doing like a 3-day training block, you do your sprints the first day when you're real fresh, and then as you get more fatigued, maybe day 3, my resting heart rate is 42, sort of on the high end, but I can still do like a 6-hour endurance, right? I'm not doing sprints. My sprints would be horrible that day. I wouldn't do like a VO2 effort, but you can still get good numbers for endurance in that situation. So keep an eye on it that way, and you can just put that in your training log and just keep an eye, pay attention to it. Another thing, if you start doing an interval and you find, so this is why we wear your heart rate straps in your training. A lot of people get into the, I'm not training, I just wore that for the video. A lot of people get into power meters and kind of stop looking at heart rate in their workouts. They stop wearing the heart rate strap, the ticker, entirely. That is a bad move. You'll find that it might not be useful to sort of look at your heart rate during the effort to gauge your intensity. Like power is definitely more reliable for that. But a lot of times I'll start an interval. Say my coach says, do 10 minutes at threshold today, and I'll start and I'll get 2 minutes in, and I'll look down and my heart rate is still, my power is at threshold. My heart rate is still in endurance a few minutes in. That might mean that I'm not recovered. I'm better off going home to rest. And then the next day, so like, okay, shut it down, not getting my workout in today. My body says no, I'm going to obey that. And tomorrow I'll repeat that effort, and I'll find it's a lot more effective, and I'll get better numbers at the end. Other things, so obey that. A lot of times people say, oh, you skipped your interval, you're soft, you're not doing what you're supposed to, you're not obeying your coach. That's not true. A good coach knows that you should obey your body first and your coach second. You can't factor in you had a bad night of sleep, you have stress, all that stuff will affect your recovery, and the Whoop really shows. I've noticed that like I can do a 6-hour ride and wake up, it's kind of color-coded. It'll say I'll wake up in the green is how they do it after like a long, hard workout. I have a day of mental stress, looking at hospital bills, for example, and making phone calls and arguing with jerks at my health insurance. And I'm in the red from that. I had a day, I didn't even ride, I didn't exercise at all, but all that stuff really will affect you, and your workouts will be affected as well. So trust your metrics, trust your heart more than your training plan, and pay attention to that. If you find yourself moody, that's the sign that you need maybe you need a nap. Same as just like a baby. So think about those things. Those are the main reasons of when you need to rest. And don't be shy about it. Definitely err on the side of being rested, especially if you have competition coming up. That's the way to do it. So that's when to take a rest day. If you have questions that you want to see in the pro tips videos, go to there's a link down here in the Strava Club. Oh, there's a link for Whoop too. We got a discount for those if you want to try this out. But go to the Strava Cookie Club and leave comments there. That's kind of where I'm getting the cues for these videos. So see you next time. Peace.